Hello, welcome back into my garage. We're going to do a bit of a roundup today around some of the things that I've done since you were last in here. Stick around because I've got something new that might be a bit of a surprise for you, which might help me with the organisation. So first, let's talk about these shelves then. So we saw these shelves, me putting them up in a video a little while ago. I will put a link in the top corner for you just so you can catch up on that one. I've got to say, I am so pleased with these shelves. I'm so glad I did it. They are a bit of a mess at the minute, as you can see. Things have kind of been thrown on here a little bit. And I need to spend some time just to organise those out a little bit better and just get a bit of a better system going. But I'm really pleased with how they've all turned out. The one slight disappointment, I think I caught up with these on the post-mortem video. These are the plates that I bought with some silly postage price on them to link the two units together. However, what I didn't realize is that they are the wrong size. Look at that. They don't quite fit. So these are effectively useless for me, which is a bit annoying. But yeah, other than that, this whole thing is going great. And so really pleased with that. So the next thing to talk about then is this shelf here, this white shelf. If you've been paying attention, you might have seen it crop up in the back of a couple of videos here and there. So this was a new shelf I put in a little while ago. And it's really helped. It's fairly thin, it's about 30 centimeters deep, and I had a scrap piece of wood that came from one of the original clear out videos that I've made, and all I had to do was basically chop it to length. I didn't even need to paint it. So the shelf brackets came from Screwfix. I think they can hold about 100 kilos each, and this has really helped. I can get all my drill bits above my drill, a couple other stackable tools and things out the way. Some, I can start organizing around electrical components and that kind of thing as well. These bins came from IKEA. I can't remember the name. I'll try and find them and put them in the description, but they are only about £2 each as well, so they've really helped us to really organize things as well. One thing I have noticed, this end does need another support on it. This end just bows a little bit if you put any kind of weight on it. Fortunately, I've got another 2 brackets left over, so I will just use those and put another bracket on the wall. You don't need to see me fitting a shelf to the wall, so I didn't record that one. But yeah, simple things have made a big difference in here. So next thing to talk about then is lighting inside the garage. I've noticed in a couple of previous videos that whilst I'm working, it gets quite dark in here, and I'm casting shadows on the piece of work that I'm trying to work on as well. So it's not great for filming. It's not great for my eyesight for making things in here. So I went to Screwfix. I found these on sale. These are there's one batten in each. These are just LED battens that can just screw to the ceiling, and we'll get those wired in, and it should be significantly brighter in here. So in terms of what I've got already in this part of the garage, there's just a single tube, which is okay, but like I say, cast shadows for me. There's a double tube over there, and then kind of hidden just here there is a pendant as well. This basically doesn't do very much. It just lights up the garage a little bit whilst the 2 tubes kick in. I will probably take this pendant out. I will probably leave this double one in here because it's basically lighting up the area down the back where the car is, and it's kind of useful for that. And I will take this strip out basically and get rid of this one. My intention is I'll probably try and run the battens across rather than down the rafters, so probably one about here somewhere, so it doesn't get covered by the garage door if I have that open, and then maybe one around here somewhere as well. I want to make sure they're not in the way so I can still get up into the loft space. As you can see, I've got lots of things up there that I want to keep. So yeah, they're going to go across there, and hopefully you should start seeing some better light in my videos coming soon. Now, one of the other problems that I've had is these drawers. So this is an old salvage kitchen set of drawers and cupboards, as you can see, and these drawers basically are full of junk. It's not particularly well organized. I'm sure a lot of garages have stuff like this. I need to sort through this stuff. There's a few tools in here. There's a few things that are useful and a few things that are probably past a sell-by date and that kind of thing that I need to get rid of. So whilst thinking of that, what I can do, I think this one here is full of screws and things. There's a bit of organisation that I need to sort out and get sorted. Now, one thing I did do recently, and this is where the bit of surprise came in, is I bought a 3D printer. I've always wanted one, but always looked at them and thought, I have no use for one of those things. And actually, since buying one, I have found 1,000,001 different uses for it. And one of the things I found was a system called Gridfinity. Now, if you're anything with to do with 3D printing. You've probably heard of this, so you can ignore this bit of the video. But essentially the idea is that if you've not heard of it, you print off a base plate grid like this. This is several of them all joined together. I have also trimmed them to the right size so they fit perfectly within the drawer. This set here will mount onto a set underneath here as well. And basically what you end up doing is printing off boxes or trays that fit into that grid, and they can be picked up, they can be rearranged. So this is one here, is one that I designed for a tape measure. But if I lift this one up here, we got here, so you can see grid on the bottom fits into the grid here, and sometimes you get things that fit perfectly inside of them like this. You can see there's another one here for sanding discs, which has been shaped to the right size. Again, it's got the grid on the bottom. And sometimes you just end up building a bin basically and printing out a bin. One here for some cheap rule plugs, again fits in. Now these things can be stacked on top of each other in some cases. They can be moved around like this. You know, I don't have to have them exactly next to each other. I can shift them about a bit. I can also turn them the other way around as well. So things can stack in the order that you want them to do. So you can see here I've started to lay out a few different trays and things. Oh, I'm back. I'm going to lose my pattern. This one again for pens and things, they can just slot into there. And you can also get, if you've got a well-known object like my GoPro camera, you can get things that hold fairly precisely to those objects. You can see here one for taping things. So I've printed all of that out, and that is ready to go in. And what I need to do is have a really good sort out of this drawer, pick out the things I want to keep and what I want to throw away, what needs to go in other drawers and that kind of thing. But the tray that I've fitted should fit exact. So I'll take out this is the old knife and fork holder. We'll take that out, and the grid base that I've made should fit perfectly in there. And then we can then fit things on top of it. Now, one of the other things that I found really useful with this 3D printer is that I can make not just Gridfinity things, but I can also look at things like this, which just looks like a triangle. If I want to turn it like that, you can see it's clearly got a screw hole there and a screw hole down there. And this is designed for holding a power tool battery. In this case, this is for a Makita, so it can be mounted on the wall like that, and the battery can then snap into it. And there's brackets for loads of other brands. I've got a DeWalt drill as well, so that can be clipped onto the wall and the battery can snap into that. And I've also just ended up with a Makita lawnmower as well, so I have a Makita bracket holder as well. So my plan is basically get a piece of wood. I'll probably mount it somewhere over here near where the boiler is over here, mount it onto the wall. I can mount the chargers there as well, because again down here, where are we going? So here is a bracket that would fit onto the back of this charger, so I can screw that to the wood and then mount the charger onto that. And so yeah, I'm having great fun with this 3D printing lark. If you've not tried it, really look into it. There's so many models and things out there that you can use, and I'm just starting to get going with designing my own things as well. So I can also print out tools as well. So this is kind of, I sort of broke this a little bit whilst I was assembling it, but the idea of this is a flexible hose that will sit around the pillar drill and can be bent into various directions, and then that can then be attached to my my shop vac. And so as I'm drilling, it will suck the sawdust away, and it's got various nozzles for it as well. So here's one of the nozzles, so you can get really close to the drill bit, and it will then pull any of that sawdust and other bits you get off the drill. You know, if I'm drilling some metal, I might not put it into my cyclone. Might go straight into the dust bag of the Hoover. But you get the idea. I can print out loads of things like that. So I'm having great fun with this 3D printing stuff. You can see still a bit of a mess, but I've got a long way to go. I've got some bits ready to go to get sorted out and to get into there. Now that brings me back round to the shelves then. So one thing I did start to do was, once I got the printer, I started wondering about how I can make things for it, or using it for the garage and the storage. So this is probably the first thing that I made. It is not perfect. I'm going to drop it in a second because it's a little bit loose. Let's pull this out. So this is just a simple little hook with the right spacings on the back to fit into the clips on there. Now it's not right because it's a little bit too loose. It doesn't stay on there. So as I pull the spirit level off, it often comes with it. So I'm working on improving that. But yeah, fairly simple. Just hooks onto there and hangs out there so for extra storage. Now, one thing I have noticed is with these big dug shelves, people have made, there's somebody who's made like a tray, a bit like one of these trays up here. You can see those up there. A bit like one of those that clips onto these holding points there. It sticks out a little bit for me, so I'm not going to use one of those. But what I did find was one of these. Somebody has made a coat rack or a coat hook, basically, to hook onto there. Obviously, it doesn't have to be a coat; it can be pretty much anything you want. And this is, unlike my one, nice and tight. It doesn't move around too much. It's hard to slot it up and down, which is what you want. So I'm going to try and pinch a few bits of the design of that and see if I can make mine a little bit more refined. But that works really well for me. So yeah, I think I've got a lot of mileage in this 3D printing lark. I'm not going to spend my life or not going to change the channel into something about 3D printing, but you might see me start doing a few things here and there with it. So I think that pretty much wraps us up for now. As you can see, lots has gone on in the background. Still a few more things to do. I've got the lights, new shelf bracket. I've got those drawers to reorganize. I've got some more Gridfinity things to print out and design. But it's all going on in the background and it's all going really well. So really pleased that I've done it. If you've missed any of the previous videos, particularly around why I've done it and the starting point where I came from, please go back and view those. I'll put a link to the playlist up in the corner so you can go and watch those. So yeah, please go back and watch those ones if you've got any questions. On a similar note, please put any comments in that you think whether I'm doing something right or whether I'm doing something wrong, or if there's any suggestions you might have got or any ideas, particularly around the 3D printing thing. Do you want me to cover off any of that content? Do you want me to talk about the printer that I've got, that kind of thing? Or you just, there's enough of that on YouTube already and leave that for someone else. If you've got any suggestions for any Gridfinity bins or anything like that, that'd be really helpful, or any 3D printed tools as well, that would be brilliant as well. So please click like, click subscribe, watch the other videos, tell me what I'm doing wrong, and I will see you in the next video.